At the Steer House Nursing and Rehabilitation Centre in Providence, Rhode Island, a grey and white cat named Oscar roamed the halls. Adopted by the staff in 2005, he seemed like any ordinary cat at first, quiet, a bit aloof, and fond of his routine. But Oscar soon showed himself to be far from ordinary. Over time, the nurses and doctors began noticing a remarkable, almost eerie pattern. Oscar had an uncanny ability to sense when a patient was nearing the end of their life. Oscar would quietly enter the room of a terminally ill resident, hop onto the bed and curl up beside them. In many cases, he would stay with the patient until they took their last breath, providing a silent and comforting presence. His actions became so consistent that the staff began to rely on him as a kind of angel of death, but in the most compassionate way possible. Whenever they saw him lying next to a resident, they knew it was likely time to alert the family so they could say their final goodbyes. One day, however, Oscar's behavior took an unexpected turn that deepened the mystery around him even further. A particular patient at Steer House was showing clear signs of being near death. The doctors and nurses believed he would pass within the day, so they readied his family, expecting Oscar to appear soon to offer his usual companionship. But to everyone's surprise, Oscar didn't come. He passed by the patient's door without even a glance, and instead wandered down the hall to the room of another resident, one who was more stable and expected to live much longer. The staff exchanged puzzled glances as Oscar curled up beside the seemingly healthy resident, purring softly. They were used to trusting his instincts, but this time it didn't make sense. The first resident's family waited in quiet anticipation, while Oscar lay beside the other resident as though he had no intention of leaving. As the hours passed, it was Oscar's unexpected choice that proved to be correct. The healthier resident, who had shown no signs of decline, suddenly began to weaken. His breathing grew shallow, and his pulse faded. Within hours, he passed away peacefully, with Oscar still by his side. Meanwhile, the first patient, whom the doctors had been so sure was close to death, survived for several more days. This incident left the doctors and nurses astonished, and it reinforced their belief that Oscar possessed an awareness far beyond human understanding. Some speculated that Oscar might be able to detect subtle biochemical changes or pheromones that signaled the approach of death, while others thought his gift was something more mysterious and unexplainable. What was clear, though, was that Oscar's instincts were nearly always correct, even when they defied logic. Oscar's ability to predict death was so reliable that Dr. David Doser, a geriatrician at Steer House, wrote about him in a New England Journal of Medicine article in 2007. Dr. Doser was fascinated by Oscar's intuition and the comfort he provided to families. In time, he wrote a book, Making Rounds with Oscar, The Extraordinary Gift of an Ordinary Cat, which recounted not only Oscar's ability, but also the emotional impact he had on the residents, families and staff. To the families, Oscar's presence was a gentle and reassuring one. Knowing that their loved one was not alone in their final hours brought them peace. He had become a source of comfort, a last companion on the journey from life to death, and a symbol of the bond between humans and animals that transcends words. In his quiet way, Oscar offered something that even the most skilled doctors couldn't: a warm, comforting presence in life's final moments. Oscar continued his rounds at Steer House, choosing residents seemingly by instinct. He offered each of them a final act of compassion, curling beside them as their time drew near, as if guiding them gently into the beyond. For the staff, he was not just a cat, but a companion, a mystery, and a reminder of the profound connections we share in life's most vulnerable moments. Oscar's legacy endures, his story a testament to the unseen, unexplainable gifts that animals can offer in our lives.